the twilight of the 4th century, northern China lay in ruins, a shattered land torn by war and ambition. The mighty Jin dynasty had crumbled, its glory swallowed by chaos. A storm of rival kingdoms battled for supremacy, their banners stained with blood. The 16 kingdoms, Xiongnu, Jie, Di, and Qiang, clashed relentlessly, leaving the north a cauldron of strife. From the vast steppes, a nomadic people, the Tuoba, rose like a tempest. Led by a young warrior with fire in his heart, they forged an empire, the Northern Wei, that reshaped a broken world. In 386 CE, Tuoba Gui, a chieftain barely 17, declared the founding of the Wei state in the rugged lands of modern-day Inner Mongolia. Born among the Tuoba, a branch of the Shanbei nomads, Gui knew hardship. His people were herders and warriors, their lives shaped by hooves and arrows. A decade earlier, the former Qin had crushed the Tuoba, scattering their clans like leaves in a storm. Gui, then a boy, fled to safety among allies. Now he returned, his heart burning to reclaim his people's destiny. It was a bold act, a challenge to every rival warlord. The Tuoba were few, their resources scarce, but Gui's ambition was boundless. He rallied his cavalry, their horses swift as the wind, and launched a campaign to carve his name into history. From 386 to 395, Gui waged relentless war, his warriors striking like lightning against rival tribes. The later Yan, a formidable Shanbei state led by the Murong clan, stood as his greatest foe. In 395, at the Battle of Canhe Slope, Gui faced a Yan army that outnumbered his own. The odds seemed hopeless, but Gui was cunning. He lured the Yan into a narrow valley where his archers rained death from the cliffs. The Yan army broke, their banners trampled in the dust. That victory shattered Yan's dominance and signaled that the Tuoba were a force to be feared. Gui's triumphs were not built on might alone. He knew that to hold the north, he needed order.
Victory is fleeting,
He declared.
but an empire endures through structure.
He moved his capital to Pingcheng, a city perched between the steppes and Chinese heartlands. There he wove together two worlds, adopting Chinese systems of governance, appointing officials to collect taxes and manage towns. Yet he honored his Tuoba roots, ensuring his warriors rode free under the open sky. This balance, nomad and scholar, sword and scroll, became the cornerstone of the Northern Wei. Gui's successors carried his torch, none more boldly than Emperor Xiaowen, who ascended in 471. A visionary torn between two worlds, Xiaowen dreamed of a unified empire. The Tuoba were warriors, but their subjects were millions of Chinese farmers, artisans, and scholars. To rule them, Xiaowen embraced sinicization, the adoption of Chinese culture. In 493, he relocated the capital to Luoyang, the ancient heart of Chinese civilization. Its grand avenues and towering palaces stood in stark contrast to the windswept tents of the steppes. Xiaowen went further, ordering his people to shed their nomadic ways. He banned Tuoba clothing, mandated Chinese surnames, transforming Tuoba to Yuan, and urged his nobles to speak the language of the Han. "We are one people now," he proclaimed, but his reforms sparked a firestorm. Many Tuoba warriors saw sinicization as betrayal, a severing of their soul. Yet Xiaowen pressed on, believing unity was worth the cost. Under his reign, the Northern Wei reached its zenith. Luoyang became a beacon of culture, its streets alive with poets, scholars, and monks. The dynasty poured its wealth into Buddhism, a faith that bound nomad and Chinese alike. Near Pingcheng, the Yungang Grottoes rose, vast caves carved with thousands of Buddhist statues, their serene faces blending Chinese grace with Central Asian fire. These masterpieces, etched into the cliffs, stood as a testament to a dynasty that dared to bridge worlds. But even empires forged in fire can crack. Xiaowen's death in 499 left a void, and his successors lacked his resolve. The rift between Tuoba traditionalists and sinicized elites grew. By the 520s, rebellions flared across the north, fueled by nobles who longed for the steppes and Chinese subjects who resented their barbarian rulers. In 534, the Northern Wei shattered, splitting into the Eastern and Western Wei. Within decades, both fell, their banners fading into history. Yet the Northern Wei's legacy endures. For nearly 150 years, they brought unity to a fractured land, paving the way for the Sui and Tang dynasties. Their land reforms shaped Chinese agriculture. Their patronage of Buddhism left sacred caves that still inspire awe. The Tuoba, once nomads of the steppes, proved that strength lies in adaptation. They wove together two worlds, leaving a mark that time cannot erase. From the chaos of a broken land, the Northern Wei rose, a dynasty born of courage, vision, and sacrifice, a spark of unity that lit the way to greatness. Ambition. A strong desire to achieve a goal. Her ambition to become a doctor drove her to study hard every day. Cauldron. A situation filled with intense activity or conflict. The city was a cauldron of protests and debates during the election. Cunning, cleverness used to trick or outsmart others. The cunning fox escaped the trap by pretending to be asleep. Endures, lasts, or continues despite difficulties. Their friendship endures even after years of living apart. Relentless, persistent, and unyielding, often harshly. The relentless rain flooded the streets for days. Sinicization. The process of adopting Chinese culture or customs. The sinicization of the region brought Chinese language and traditions to the locals. Tempest. A violent storm, often used to describe intense situations. The argument erupted like a tempest, shaking the entire family. Zenith. The highest point or peak of success. Her career reached its zenith when she won the national award.